Hello. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Am I coming through okay? Can you see me and hear me and all of that stuff? Let me know. Hopefully, I am. Let's have a chat about games and things, right? There's things happening. There's things always happening. I'm not configured right, am I? I'm in the way of George. Right. Hey, Steve. Hope you're alright. It is a very bleak, rainy night. Well, it's only 5 o'clock, I suppose. Is that evening yet? Maybe. Let me just get my browser up and we will talk about some games and things. You don't want to come up? Go on. We can't look at much if you don't come up. There we go. Oh, it's right in my way. Look, it's coming through okay? Brilliant. Hey, Joel, you going to GridCon 2? Are you? Well, it's GridCon 3, the one that's coming up. We've missed one. But I am going. Rach and I are both going. I don't know how much we will be about on the first day because Rach has still got work in the day, and then we got to drive. Like, it's a big drive. One of the reasons that we don't always go to cons, it's about 3.5 hours away. I think it's 3+ hours away drive. So yeah, I don't know how much we're going to get done on the first day, but we're going to be there Saturday and a good chunk of Sunday. On Saturday, we're going to be, I think we're playing a game of Alter Quest that I've never played before, that I've signed up for. It sounds cool. And we are playing a great big game of Arkham Horror card game. You know how they have those scenarios that you can play, like multiple groups can play the same thing and somehow it interacts with each other. I've never done anything like that before. So we're signed up to one of those as well. And I think I am booked in to borrow Atiwa, the new Uwe Rosenberg game that's hasn't come here yet, and unfortunately couldn't get to Essen, and I don't feel like I'm too bothered actually. But yeah, I'm going to be borrowing that for the morning, so we'll get a play of that, amongst other things, I'm sure. But yeah, we're going to be going to GridCon again. Nice and rainy in Seattle too. Hey Genway, how's it going? Essen stuff slowly trickling in. Well, yeah, I've got what I did a video on that wasn't prototype stuff, but yeah, I think like it will be coming in dribs and drabs, won't it? For the next couple of months, I think. Usually, like I think Hallertau was weird because you could pre-order it. Like, was that 2020? That's when Essen didn't happen, isn't it? So all of like the normal Essen pre-orders, you could mail order instead. So that was here around the time of the convention, whereas with the new ones, they're back to not doing that. So just got to wait until it comes through normal distribution channels, which, yeah, there's it might be by the end of the year. They might have run into a load of shipping troubles like a load of places have, but hopefully stuff should be coming. Like I hope Starship Captains should be on the way. Like there's some things like we're hey, everyone who hasn't seen one of these before, we'll talk about the videos that I did in the month just gone, and we'll talk about the games that are coming up in this month. There are some that I think are on the way, but I haven't had like a concrete shipping, a concrete tracking number or anything, so I don't want to put them on the vote and then be like, oh, actually, they're not going to arrive for another month or something because of some delay. But yeah, there should be Starship Captains, I hope. There will be Weather Machine, I'm hoping. Like, that would be... I feel like going on historical rankings, Vita Lacerda games do pretty well in the playthrough votes. Weather Machine should be on the way. And what else? Some exciting things. But yeah, they're not in the vote because they aren't here, or I know they come in a couple of days. You got Oak, Revive, Autobahn come together, and Lacrimosa. Well, that's a pretty hefty week of gaming. Yeah, hopefully they've got around the logistics issues now. So I will rattle off the things that happened in October, which actually, like, I always fret about these things. I've not been very well for a couple of weeks for whatever reason. I'm mostly better now, I think. But yeah, I've not been making as much as I would like to in the last couple of weeks, although I still feel like I've ended up making more than I probably should have done. So I've been like fretting that, I haven't got anything done in October. Forgetting though that Essen was at the beginning of October and I was streaming games for like 3 weeks straight, wasn't I? Like almost every day. So in October, what did we do? 11, the Football Manager board game. You manage a football team and stuff, but it's a kind of cool economical game as well. The solo mode has scenarios. Played through the very first scenario, and yeah, I think I never like checked these things before this stream. I think I used to. I think by some margin the most popular video, but I think like people are pumped. Their copies are on the way, so they should be as well. And maybe there'll be some more coming from 11. I really enjoyed it, and there's so much more stuff in there. There's boxes and boxes of expansions. There's a solo only story mode that you can play where you take a bad team and hopefully get them to the top of the pops. We played Oak, which was all about druids and chanting and trying to be the best tribe and all of that kind of stuff. That's all of these were live solo playthroughs. Terracotta Army, one of the new board and dice games, which is amongst other things, amongst some cool worker placement and stuff, is a kind of area control, area majority thing, putting down these lovely kind of, well, they're not clay miniatures, they're plastic miniatures, but representing the clay soldiers of the Terracotta Army. You're placing those about and trying to get them in certain configurations and win majorities of rows and columns and get certain types next to each other. It's a really cool meatier game. Skull, which is back on Kickstarter, actually. All the links been updated, I think. This is a party game, essentially, although it doesn't have to be. It's a dice game where a kind of real-time race to be the fastest dexterity dice game where you flip over a card, get shown what you need to do. There are simple cards that need some stacking. There are more complicated ones that want certain faces to be facing out to everyone, or certain ones where you got to do them with one eye or with no eyes and all of that kind of stuff. And you can see an overview of that. And then a solo playthrough I did where you can see my shocking lack of dexterity, especially, well, I couldn't look for a while. So yeah. Maybe it's on par when you've got your eyes shut and you're trying to stack dice together. Mind Your Business, another game that was on Kickstarter, where we had a card-based grid representing a mine, and it's a really puzzly game of trying to rotate and shift these cards to try and get strips of the same types of mineral next to where your cart is that's constantly moving around this grid throughout the game to try and get the most points in that. And it's got a bit of a chapter system as well, whereas the first chapter is just about that, trying to rotate the stuff, getting the things onto your minecart. The next scenario, there is a goblin going around that is messing things up for you, and if he lands on your space, it's over, and more chapters to progress, and more stuff beyond that. Discordia, the new game from Iron Games, the new Essen release, and designer Bernd Eisenstein. This is a game of dice placement and tile laying, but a game where you start off with, I think it's about 15 workers randomly from this bag, and through building places for them to work and getting them to work, you need to get rid of all of your workers. And it is a really kind of tense, tight game to try and get that done in as well. There are loads of beautiful combinations of powers to try and, like, you can spend an action to put a worker in a building, but you don't want that. You want to take a die that's got the same colour and number as a building you've built so they can go in there for free. And you want to get the ability that, oh, actually, when I take a blue die, the colour, when I'm filling up blue buildings, the colour of the die I took doesn't matter. Then, like, this can kind of compound and grow out as you go through the game. Really, really enjoyed Discordia. Eldritch Horror came back. I actually filmed this other playthrough like the day after I filmed the first one that came out a couple of months ago, because I got overexcited. I thought, like, well, probably space them out a little bit. But yeah, this is a very different vibe for the investigators. I think the last episode it will be coming up. I've edited this. There's a lot of panic about what have I still not had time to do yet. Eldritch Horror, it just needs to go up on Patreon, doesn't it? I have edited it. Yes, the journey began for Spooky Month, and you can see the whole 3-episode thing very, very soon. Delta is on Kickstarter from Game Brewer. This is a game all about looking at and researching cyberpunk animals. Well, not cyberpunk, steampunk. Yeah, we are doing various things to research the animals, to find the origin of how these not magical, how these crazy crystals work, exploring the lands, getting research papers that will reward you with loads of points. You can see it's a 2-player playthrough as well, a little Glass Marty involved in it. Hitodama, I've done an overview for. This is a family worker placement game that's all about, coming together with nature and doing positive things, really. And it's got a really cool kind of Japanese spirits of the seasons theme to it as well. Survival of the Fattest as another overview. This is a card game where we are animals roaming around trying to basically build up food for the winter before we hibernate, and you are doing all sorts of little tricks based on the animal that you are playing, going over to locations, getting to look at certain cards based on what you've spent, and trying not to be the one that ends up taking these traps. There are ways to get them out, but traps are negative points. You want to get food and not traps. You can see how all that works there. The Bloody Inn did very well in my Halloween vote, and it did so well, in fact, that I bought it. Like, it's a game from, I think, 2016 that I just missed out on. Played it solo for the first time. Really, really enjoyed it. It's got as you might imagine, for a spooky game, a macabre theme of you are a family that's running an inn that's decided it would be a lot more profitable if you just killed and robbed all of the people that stayed there. So that's basically what you are doing. You're trying to evade the police in your pursuit of doing that. Really enjoyed the solo mode of it. A special Halloween playthrough. Rach joined me for a live game of Horrified American Monsters. That's a standalone game from Horrified. You will recognise the gameplay if you have played Horrified. It's the same system, basically, but instead of universal monsters and that kind of artwork and theming, it is, American, like, what would you call them? Myths, legends, cryptids? Is that the word? Like, there was Mothman and Bigfoot. The Ozark Howler was one of them. I think, like, you can see a more in-depth post on Board Game Geek of people that are more well-versed with both of the versions. Like, I don't think it's completely, like, all the things are completely different between the two. But yeah, really, really enjoyed that, and it felt different to us anyway. And finally, although it did end up going late because scheduling didn't work, Mansions of Madness 2nd edition won the Halloween vote, and it is back for a whole new scenario. I was just flicking through. I've got expansions and stuff now. I did spend about 5 years, 6 years actually, not having the game, but I've got it back. I'm really into it again, as with all of the Arkhamness that I've been doing. And I just picked one that I thought sounded good. You've basically woken up in this cell and you need to find out how to get out and why you're there. It's called Behind Closed Doors. I think it's from the Sanctum of Twilight expansion. And I had a look back as well when I was sorting out the playthrough list earlier, that Mansions of Madness was playthrough number 22. We're on 705 at the moment. So yeah, there's been a lot going on in these last years. It was like August 2022, no, 2022 is now, August 2016 that I did it. So how time has flown. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The minis are painted now. There's loads of cameras all over the place. I hope you enjoy it. And this is November technically, but you can see a solo playthrough of Oceans as well, which is a game I haven't played because I don't think it would be for us multiplayer because of the way the interaction is in it, just for our particular taste. But solo, don't have that problem at all, and I had a massive amount of fun with it. It's I've been missing out I knew I'd be missing out on something. But yeah, really enjoyed the game itself and the solo mode of it. And yeah, you can check it out on Kickstarter now, along with a brand new. There's a Legendary Edition. There's a new Legends of the Deep expansion as well. But my playthrough is about the new solo bit on it. So there we go. That is the October stuff. So you see, like, panic about, oh, has there been much happening in October? And then you get it down in a list, and oh, actually, yeah, that's like, if you counted that out in hours, a ton of things. So yeah, that's all available if you've missed out on any of it. I should say it as well. I'm supposed to say this at the start of all of the videos. I forget. Maybe that's my problem. But the channel, basically, there are some sponsored videos that happen from time to time, but generally, everything that I do is made possible by patreon.com/slickerdrips. I can't point to it because I can never point in the right direction, and it's outside my border. I can't get out of this bit. You can see it on the other side of the screen there. It's linked in the description, I think, as well. And I'm sure there we go. Steve Bott is posting it for us in the chat as well. Your support would be massively appreciated. I know times are tough. It's been like, it's weird. Like, I was surprised when I clicked on, like, as the month changes, that yeah, it's actually been a bit of, like, well, not as, hey Marty, do you want to say hello to everyone? It's not even food time. He is resistant to being picked up, but he's not on his Marty cam lately. So here we go. Marty can be here for the Patreon section. Will you, if someone signs up to Patreon, will you come back onto the Marty cam? You make no promises. Fair enough. Here he is to say a quick hello, though, wondering why there's no food and why he is not being released. There you go, Marty. Be free. What was I saying? Yeah, it's been, like, I suppose it makes sense. Times are tough and stuff. That's, yeah, there's been a reduction on Patreon, but yeah, it's time of year maybe. Everything's going a little bit wrong generally, innit? But yeah, it's all made possible thanks to that. If you like what I do and you are able to support it either on Patreon or Ko-fi as well, if you don't want to sign up to something and you just want to do a one-off thing, everything is appreciated, and yeah, genuinely is the reason I'm able to be on here doing stuff, really. Apart from the days when I'm at another job, but hey, maybe we can dream of the goal, and it'll just be all board games all the time, eh? He's just outside now, just meowing on a loop. No, he's not thrilled at all. Hey Mike, how's it going? Oh, thanks, I will try. Hey Matt. No, he's got his times wrong though. He didn't know the clocks have changed, does he? He's expecting food, but he's not getting any, to be honest. So yes, there are other ways that you can support the channel. There's also, like, merch and stuff. I probably don't mention that as much as I should. If you would like shirts or caps or a mug that involve, well, not me, Marty. They involve Marty, really. Then yeah, you can see links for that in the description as well. Sir Meeple is the place to go for that. But shall we go to? So one of the perks, like the main thing of Patreon, is you make the channel happen. You make me able to be here doing this. It takes ages. Like part of the strangeness of, like, looking back at thinking, oh, have I done enough? You have to really think of how long it took to make all of the things. I'm finishing off a rules video now. One of the things that will be coming up in November, and very soon, I think, is something that I'm just finishing up now, is a rules video for Solar Sphere. When it gets edited down and you see the final length of things, I think that took so many hours. And it's just, oh well, that's a good thing that it ends up as a shorter video. Yeah, October seems to have been so quick. Like it seems like ages ago I was doing those Essen videos, but yeah, it was like less than a month ago. I've seen bits about Lacrimosa. It seems really cool. It seems like something I would like to try. I don't know if it's made it here yet. I'm not really sure. Devi, in the past, like it's one of those weird things that, like, I think it was about something else. Like, we talked and it all seemed great, and then nothing ever arrived. So, like, I don't think I will be getting a copy, but if I can find it and budget allows, then I'm up for it. I'm up for music theme stuff anyway. Hey Steve, how's it going? Good evening. Right, so I will talk about. Oh, I keep sidetracking myself, don't I? Yes, I say one of the benefits of the Patreon, amongst many other things, is that we have a vote every month for a playthrough. Generally, it ends up being a few things. It doesn't tend to just be one thing off this list. Where am I pressing? There I am. Why have you gone up? What are you doing? There we go. I've got to make the window wants to be smaller for some reason. Really enjoyed the Discordia playthrough, but it doesn't seem to be available anywhere in the US at the moment. Yeah, I wonder with that, because, like, I wonder if it's All Iron Games kind of distributing it, because the things like Peloponnese and Pandoria and stuff do end up in UK shops, but I think that it's like, yeah, you could message, like, Burns active on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. Hopefully it won't be too long. Hey Tyven TV, how's it going? Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. So yes, we have a playthrough vote, and the playthrough vote for this month that I will be posting after this stream. It's basically, I press finish it, and then I go and make this post on Patreon. These are some of the options. Some new things, some asking, do you want to continue a series of these things? And a very old thing, I think, if I remember correctly, what is in here. So, first of all, new things. Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I like Star Wars. Not as much as Disney expects me to, I feel like. I've seen a number of the films. I really love Pandemic, though. I like Star Wars enough for it to be a theme. I like the Lich King theme enough. Not that I play World of Warcraft, but I've never got around to playing that one. The Star Wars: The Clone Wars is a re-implementation of Pandemic, but it's designed by Alexander Ortloff. It looks pretty cool. That might just be the kid inside being excited that maybe you can play as Yoda in Pandemic. But yeah, would you like to see how Pandemic makes the leap from saving the world against diseases to fighting the Empire, maybe? Well, it wouldn't be Empire, would it, back in the Clone Wars? Hey, Teddy Board Games, how's it going? I'm glad you're here. Yeah, it might just be a thing that you have to get it from Burned, which, like, it's always a downside, isn't it? Just because of the shipping costs to like order one thing. Like, I ordered something from America to England, and the shipping costs were frightening. So I don't tend to do it. Kites. I've been on about Kites since the UK Games Expo. We played it there. I was really excited. We loved it. It finally came out, and I've got a copy now. It's a real-time card game where we have these sand timers of varying colours, and you can see on the cards there, they've got different colours on them as well. The deck is separated between the players. We start the game, we flip all of these sand timers. The aim of the game is play all of the cards without letting any of the sand timers run out. You play a card with a colour on it, you flip that sand timer, it goes to the next person. So you are trying to play these cards as quickly as possible, trying to get into a rhythm of this stuff, because, you know, if something's just been flipped, you don't want to flip it again. And there's the extra wrinkle of cards. A lot of the cards have got two different colours on them. They might be two sand timers you desperately want to flip. They might be one you desperately want to flip and one you really don't want to flip. There is a wild card as well that can be flipped by anything, and I think in the final game there are extra things on top of that, some special cards and things that you can add into it. We just played the standard game in the UK Games Expo, but like in a different way to Fuse, which is another kind of easy to learn, incredibly addictive, fast playing real-time game. It feels like in that vein of just being like a really fun thing we can just get obsessed with. So Kites is an option. Having mentioned, like, I'm doing a rules video for it, unless like the copy needs to be somewhere, then the next option is Solar Sphere, which I think I also mentioned in the UK Games Expo video. This is a dice placement game. We are trying to build a Dyson sphere. It's a dice placement and manipulation game. You have, I don't want to mess this up in case I need to do reshoots and things. You have a command center. It has dice on it, and oh, there we go, they all fell off. It has dice on it. You have droids. There are various locations that you can visit. You are trying to recruit different crew members. You are trying to build out in these hexes out on the Dyson sphere itself. Around the sphere are various locations that you can send dice to. They of course got different requirements, certain numbers, odds or evens to go on there. You can manipulate the dice. You're gathering up resources to be able to build, to be able to recruit more crew, win the favor of various factions. It works really well, although asterisk, I've been commissioned to make a rules video for it, so disregard my opinions. Flamecraft is a beautiful looking game. I know, like, it's not all about the look of things, but sometimes games just make you want to shout that at the very start. I mean, like, I don't know that this kind of stuff is going to be in the retail version. Like, it was a Kickstarter, there's a deluxe edition of it. I have a retail version, as far as I know. Hey Christopher, how's it going? Thanks for popping in. Have a good meeting. Yes, we are flame keepers. We are managing dragons. We're making potions and stuff, and we are trying to make our shops the best home for dragons and things. Is the theme of it. It seems really cool. I will admit that the theming and the cuteness were the thing that jumped out to me first. But yeah, it's been getting a lot of buzz, and I'm really interested to try it out. Would you like to see some Flamecraft? So then, as I said, there are more things arriving, like I think Starship Captains and Weather Machine and maybe something Wingspanny. I haven't got like concrete tracking numbers or when they're going to arrive, so I haven't put them in the vote just in case they don't come in time, or maybe they're not going to come until December's vote kicks in. So they're off for now. Next up, though, things that I've actually just mentioned, or mentioned in October's video. 11. We played, like, kind of the first basic solo scenario. I have expansions that I've shuffled in, though, and one of those expansions is a specific solo-only expansion that includes a story mode where you start in a low-down rubbish club as a manager no one believes in, and throughout various scenarios and an ongoing campaign, you want to try and make the best of it and become a superstar manager. Would you like to see, like, generally, out of everything that I've done in recent months, I think, apart from maybe Eldritch Horror, this has had the most comments of, like, please do more of this. So, like, we'll see how it goes in the vote. I'd like to come back to all of the, everything in the vote, actually. I wouldn't put something in that I really don't want to do. Would you like to see some more 11? Similarly, on the topic of Portal games, I also did Chapter 1 of Empires of the North, Wrath of the Lighthouse, a solo-only campaign expansion for Empires of the North. Only did the first chapter, really enjoyed it, but we didn't necessarily unlock tons of new things. Would you like to see Wrath of the Lighthouse continue as well? And going back a few months, Legacy of You, I did a spoiler-free, non-campaign playthrough. And this would be severely spoiler-marked, but would you like to see the start of a Legacy of You campaign? I say knowing full well that Hadrian's Wall has been neglected, and I need to get to it. Time is my enemy. it was going to come back. I couldn't talk for about 2.5 weeks. I couldn't talk for more than like 10 minutes without having like a coughing fit in the middle of it. It was rubbish. Well, if you saw, you might have seen some streams. I think in the Bloody Inn playthrough, I had to keep pausing it. Actually, more 11, especially solo. Like, I'm really excited about that solo campaign. Like, the scenario was great with the base game, but yeah, really looking forward to how they get in there. Oh yeah, and this is Genway's namesake, so it should get priority because of that, shouldn't it? Like, I imagine it shouldn't be too far off, should it? Because when was the Kickstarter for it? It's probably later than I've been thinking. It was only 2 months ago, wasn't it? Yeah, it was only 2 months ago. There I am. There's Marty. Yeah, because when was the new game is arriving, isn't it? The new series, the South Tigris is arriving now, and I don't feel like it was very long ago that Kickstarter was. So yeah, Genway's legacy shouldn't be too far behind, I think. Like the Viscount's expansions were January, weren't they? And I think they got delivered to backers a few months ago, and they're now just about making it to retail. So yeah, it's a really quick turnaround of them. And luckily, they're all great. So yes, Legacy of You. And the wildcard entry. We always have a wildcard, don't we? I don't know. We do start in now. Delving back into... yeah, as compensation for using your name. They need a special copy just completely personalised to you. All of the story and artwork just for you. The other thing, I don't know if I want to play this. Maybe I shouldn't have put this in the vote. But on the kind of retreadings of my gaming history and going back and remembering how much I always liked Arkham Horror 2nd edition, had wavering, changing opinions on the other entries in the canon. But although I was absent from it, I've never faded on my 2nd edition Arkham Horror. I shouldn't say proper, because they're all great in their ways. What about the game I bought before Arkham Horror? I barely remember any of it. World of Warcraft, the board game. It might be just an incredibly self-indulgent entry, because it's been out of print for years. I don't know if anyone's even bothered about it anymore. I just stumbled upon a copy, kind of like I did getting Arkham 2nd edition back. This is like, I can remember why I got this though. Like, it was a time, it must have only been like a 6-month window that I played World of Warcraft with people. I knew there was a board game of it. I found out there's a shop that only sold board games quite near where I lived. I went there, got it. It was probably really expensive. I remember it being enormous. I don't remember playing it. I remember really enjoying it though, and that no one else really enjoyed it, and we never played it again. I'd really love to know, the bit that's missing from my memory is, what made me find out about Arkham Horror in like 2009, so before I ever started playing all of these other games and even knowing they existed? And why did I go into that board game shop and never look at the walls and walls and walls full of other things? Just zeroed in on the one day World of Warcraft, one day Arkham Horror, and then that was it. Not even an expansion for either of those games. But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued at treading back into these things. I don't know if any of you are as well. I'll be doing it privately if you don't want to see it in a video. But yeah, it's a curio for me anyway. A curio? Is that what it is? So there we go. They are going to be the entries for this month's vote. I'll get that out of the way of the camera. Why does the camera jump when I turn that off? I can't promise the return of Martycam. I thought that by now, as the year starts getting colder, that he would be right back in here, nestling in his warm little bed, right underneath the camera. But he seems resistant to that. So yeah, he may come back. It's up to him, isn't it? You saw when he made his little appearance earlier, and as you probably know with cats as well, yeah. You just gotta let him do the thing. You just gotta hope he wants to come back in here. Hopefully he does. What else should I mention is coming up? So yeah, there's Solar Sphere rules probably shouldn't be too far away. I know that's just about getting into backers' hands now. There's various things arriving or hopefully arriving, and I haven't got the scenario up here. One thing that I am hoping to get filmed before the week's out, because I wanted to film this I wanted to do a different playthrough a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, coughing stopped me. But I have got the Arkham Knights version, the print on demand version of the new Arkham Horror scenario, Fortune and Folly. We played it at the weekend, and I love it. It's a casino heist. It's an Ocean's 11 scenario for Arkham Horror. So I've got. I might have been a bit too ambitious. I've got 2 characters out of that last the Scarlet Keys character expansion that I've never played before. We have now played the scenario, so at least I've got that going for me. But yeah, I'm hoping to get that filmed because it's a new exciting thing. And looking back, I only ever did the first basically tutorial scenario for Arkham card game, and when I went back and watched it a couple of months ago, I was really frustrated at myself being too worried about spoilers. It's like, well, tell me some of the story, rather than, oh no, it's all spoilers, can't tell you anything. So yeah, there'll be that coming up on Patreon very soon, as well as more episodes. Like Eldritch is finishing, that should be coming up soon. The playthrough vote will get posted at the end of this. Scythe, the Rise of Fenris, I haven't forgotten. That's all filmed, and it will be the next episode will come up soon, because I've realised that's been a while as well now. I didn't back end this winter. No, I didn't. Like, there's a lot of these things getting delivered at the moment that I'm extremely jealous of. But yeah, couldn't afford at the time. Couldn't afford now if they came up right this second. Like, I keep seeing posts about it's back on Kickstarter, isn't it? Oathsworn. But yeah, that looks like a really cool one that I'd love to play. But yeah, just the cost of entry is far too steep for me, unfortunately. Hey, maybe you want a playthrough. Publisher of Oathsworn. I'm sure you've got plenty already then. I haven't completed Hadrian's Wall yet. We are close to it. I think we've only got 3 left. But Essen, and then me being ill, put a little hiatus in it. It will be coming back. But yeah, that'll be another one on its way. Yeah, there's new arrivals. There's other stuff. There's basically games surrounding me. I am swimming in, drowning in, you might say, games, and it's just trying to find all of the time for it amongst all the other things that I have to do. Like, I've got a normal job on top of this. Like, I do the games some full days of the week. It's like part-time in both. But hey, you can help tip the scales onto the board game side of things by supporting on Patreon or Ko-fi. That would be much appreciated. But Guild of Merchant Explorers. I have Guild of Merchant Explorers. Like, it did kind of decently in a vote as well when I put it in one when I got it. It's on our, like, I've got a calendar that I try and keep up of what's going to be coming up in the next week or so. But Guild of Merchant Explorers and Planet Unknown as well. They've been on that list for a few months now, and again, it's just time. There's it takes ages to make these things and to learn them all. Like, something that I want to do is, like, partly because I like all of these Arkham things have been a kind of brewing kind of obsession. I've been really into it the last, what's it been, like 4 months, something like that, in like my private gaming time. I'm still playing these games to learn them before things, but like above all, repeat plays that we don't usually get to go back to things. Like, I've been playing me various Arkhams and Eldritches. Rach has been playing the card game with me, and we've been really enjoying going through some of that together. What was my point? But yeah, I hope that in some of these things, some of these playthroughs, like hopefully the card game one, that the fact that I've played it a load of times, like still kind of rubbish at it. But the fact that I've played it all of these times will hopefully make for a better playthrough, as that's one of the things that worries me about, especially like the Essen weeks when I was doing like a game a day, like trying to like learn and set up and coherently try and explain a new game every day, even every week is tricky. But yeah, it would be nice to spend more time on things. But yeah, it's hard to juggle it all about, really. I reached out to Tabula Games. I think it'd be a good fit for their games. They have solo expansions for Mythsia and Isaion. I talk to you next year. I haven't, like, I don't tend to, like, especially if people are doing like crowdfunding. I will reach out to companies sometimes when they're releasing a game, but I don't like, because the like Kickstarter videos, when it's like when crowdfunding's involved, because those videos are like sponsored, I've never reached out to anyone and gone, oh, do you want me to make a video for your campaign? By the way, it's sponsored. Maybe I should. Maybe that's what people do. I don't know. I'm on this weird little slickerdrips island. I don't really know the things. There was another game that was mentioned, wasn't there? Twilight Inscription is one that's, yeah, if I got a copy sent, I would give it a go, but it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't excite me very much. Maybe because of the theme, like, maybe like because Twilight's Imperium wouldn't be my thing. I know it's a very different game, and it's making it roll and write and stuff. So the roll and write element is what intrigues me. But yeah, I would give it a go. Like that's kind of the limitation as well, of like I can only buy a few a month. What's let me have a look at. I skipped past a mention of something. What was that? Sons of Fair Real. I don't think I've seen this. Guide your way bits and face the menace of corruption. What side will you end up on? Oh, this is Tabula Games. I remember seeing Mythsia 2019. Things go by too quick. So that's getting a solo expansion from David Torti. Cool. A strategic Euro game for 2 to 4 players featuring a brilliant potential traitor mechanic. Can you play it without a traitor mechanic? Yeah, not so into the... Well, I'm not at all into semi-co-op, but usually it's like it's an option in it. A verdant lands of forest, mountains, and lakes set at risk by the menace of corruption. All players face this threat pursuing their individual achievements. If they fail to constrain the rise of corruption, everyone loses the game. Okay. So, like, in that sense, yeah, that's cool. Like say, in CO2, that we are playing a game, but around it is a loss condition that if we all ignore the pollution in CO2, we're all going to lose. I like that. Tribe masks that can be worn by minis. I like the sound of that. Oh, cool. Yeah, it sounds cool. It's got a solo mode and a co-op mode. All right. Hey, Frederick. Inscription replaced Hadrian's Wall. Wow. Like, again, like I'll get onto it at some point. I feel like especially at the moment. Like, I have got a few things, like the ones that I mentioned, the Star Wars Clone Wars and kites and those few things. But yeah, I'm trying to, like, there's a lot of stuff here. And as I mentioned, all of these things to return to, and, oh yeah, Guild of Merchant Explorers and carry on the Hadrian's Wall thing. That's, yeah, it's shocking sometimes how much the month fills up, and then, oh, remember, you've got to do, like, this video, and we're finishing the rules video, and then a couple of things from the vote, and suddenly that's already, like, 3 things a week for the whole month. It's scary sometimes. Have I looked into Hamlet? I did an overview for Hamlet for the prototype of it, and as far as I know, I have got a copy coming. I don't know when, because I think all the copies have been, like, for backers have been arriving. So I as far as I know, there is a copy coming to me. It hasn't come here yet. I really enjoyed the prototype though. that'll be coming up when I get it. Hey Zod, did you back Slay the Spire? I haven't. It's another one that's, yeah, at the moment, it's pricing me out. Like, a lot of things will, these days, just because the cost of everything is going up. But, yeah, I haven't seen too much about it. I saw, was it Jeff Engelstein? Was saying on Twitter that he'd been put off because it's kind of, it's too similar to the video game, and that they've tried to, and like, I'm paraphrasing, and I haven't seen it myself, so ducking out of all responsibility for my words. But yeah, that it's like it's trying to replicate it too much rather than just recreate the feel in a cardboard form, and that it was put off because of that. But yeah, it's generally the price. I absolutely love Slay the Spire. Not that I've ever gotten, like, I feel like the amount of time I put into it, I should be better at it than I am when I have my... It comes in waves of, like, of obsession for a few weeks just playing that. But it's been a while since I've done that, actually. But yeah, I'm glad it's doing well, though, because it's an amazing video game. And, like, just as it is, it could translate... It seems like that's what they've done. It could easily translate to a card game, because that's what the video game is. Yeah, so, like, I don't know, I've seen kind of... probably split down the middle of people comparing it to Hadrian's Wall, and some people being like, well, it's like Hadrian's Wall, but boring. But then an equal number of people saying it's like Hadrian's Wall, but exciting. So, yeah, I feel like it could be for me. But again, it's another, like, £50+ thing that's... yeah, I was more excited about Clone Wars coming along. But hey, you never know. Hopefully, we can sort things out and more things will start arriving. What... where was I? Endless Winter's a lot of mode, but FOMO got to me. Yeah, I know the feeling. Like, it nearly got to me on Oathsworn, but yeah, luckily, I'm still gutted that I haven't got and haven't played Oathsworn, because it looks amazing. But money-wise, I'm very relieved that I didn't buy a copy on eBay. I know it's back on Kickstarter and stuff now, but... It's a great big amazing looking game, and I can't afford those. Like soon, not in the very distant future, Frosthaven's arriving, and time must be carved out to play Frosthaven. Don't call me now. I definitely turn my phone on silent. Yeah, Frosthaven. It's bigger than Gloomhaven, and that's gonna be in here and overtake all of my gaming. Hey, and featuring some amazing guest designers like me and Rach. We haven't got a scenario in there. We've got scenarios in there. There's 2 slickerdrips scenarios. Although I say that, well, Rach is part of slickerdrips. So Rach is a massive force behind those scenarios. Oathsworn's a great deal for the all-in, but shipping is bonkers for Asia. Oh, that's a shame. Like, it looked... Like, seeing it in person at the UK Games Expo, it looked gorgeous. I do like the sound of a big boss battler. But, like, it's the same thing that I don't know if, like, the game would have longevity for me. We have played a bit of Kingdom Death Monster, which I know is a different thing. It's a boss battler, is maybe as similar as it gets to Oathsworn. I'm just saying that, like, we've played a bit of Kingdom Death Monster. I don't have it, and I don't think I ever will have it, because it's too expensive for me. I know that it's got all of those beautiful mini things, and you can change all of their various attributes and hugely detailed, amazing, lavish stuff. But it's in having that, it makes it too much for me. And especially now that you can see in the Mansions of Madness playthrough that's going up, I'm an expert painter now. I'm not an expert painter. I say in the playthrough even my success in getting a game fully painted, like Mansions of Madness, is lowering my standards of how well I paint things, rather than going in with ridiculously lofty goals and doing all of these techniques that I'm not good enough for, and then being disappointed when it doesn't look amazing. What if your standards would just make it not grey anymore, and we can go from there? I don't know what I was even talking about now. Hey Drew, how's it going? Hey, Marty says hello too. I don't know where he's gone. He was begging for food on the landing, but he's abandoned that now. Maybe he's realised that he's not getting anything. What am I needed for? Oh, I'm needed. But I think, for now, we'll have to do like a proper Q&A stream with Rach. She did say, actually, a bit late, we were going to do... She had the idea that we should have just done that on Halloween. I really enjoyed the horrified playthrough we did in the end, though. But yeah, she only realised that as a suggestion at the last minute. Because we haven't done one of those for a good while, have we? But yes, for now, I will leave it there for all the things that are coming up. I need to make the post for... So the post is going to go up on Patreon, probably about 5 minutes or so, when the stream finishes. And yeah, you can let me know what you want to see the most. And as always, like on Patreon, in the comments here, whatever, let me know of the other games that are coming up and you want to see and I need to look into. I can't promise that I can get them all, but yeah, it'll put them on my radar and I'll do my best. And then, because then, even if I get hold of them, I've got to try and find time for everything, and it's terrifying. Yes, if you aren't on either of the places yet and you would like to be, the links, oh thanks Steve, they're in the chat as well. Patreon, Ko-fi, they make the channel happen. Thank you so much for another month of being around, everyone, and allowing me to do this. And in return, I hope you enjoy some pretty great board games and pretty great videos, to be honest. Thank you very much, and I don't think I'm live again this week because there's a lot of recording to happen. But yeah, there'll be stuff coming up on Patreon, and you can see the schedule next Monday for what will be live next week. Probably something from the vote. But yeah, I've got it floating around in my head. I know I need to do Hadrian's Wall, Carnegie, a solo Stefan Feld. They run around in my head pretty much all day. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye, bye, bye.